And I started looking on Twitter, and then I saw an aerial shot. I was like, no way, this is insane. I'm like, guys, look at this. I mean, you see something new, you're a mom, so you know. Like all those, it's like the tiniest little thing, you're like, oh my gosh, you're making a new noise. This is amazing, where did this come from? Noah was crying, so we decided for the first time to let him sleep in between us. I discovered that I fit in this much space on the other side of the basket.
Sunny, it's so good to have you on Film Companion.
It's
your first time on our platform and we're thrilled.
Thanks.
You know, when I knew that I had to interview you, of course, I did some reading and I chanced upon a GQ interview that you had done back in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Where you talked about how at that point you didn't attend many Bollywood parties. You had actually gone to the Filmfare Awards then and you felt like all the other actresses were staring at you and you were the elephant in the room. So today I want to ask you, has that changed at all for you, that feeling of being the elephant in the room?
You know, I'm still not very social.
No?
So I have a problem. I'm not very social. And it's not that I don't want to be, it just happens that way. But people are a lot more, like, they're more receptive and they're nicer, and I've gotten to meet different people. I think when you don't go away, and you're just around, it's like that annoying kid that comes door to door trying to sell something for school. That's this guy. And, you know, I think that as time, you know, went by, a lot of different things, you know, change. So, yeah, people are so nice and so, you know, receptive. And now if I go to a social event or, you know, a personal party or something, I'm not as awkward. I'm still awkward, but I'm not as awkward because I can say hello to people that I've met, you know, different places.
You and Daniel have moved into your own house in Mumbai. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
More space for the 3 wonderful additions to your family.
We went from 2 to 7
in no
of
time.
us total. That's including 2 nannies. In no time. And all of a sudden we have no space, and we didn't feel like we lived in you know, a rather small flat. It was a nice size flat, but all of a sudden Daniel and in my bedroom had stuff stacked on stuff, and then we're moving other things in there to make room for the babies, and then the babies are in this smaller office room, and both the cribs are there plus all of Daniel's stuff. Then Nisha's room has all of our stuff plus her stuff, and every single room turned into this. It was crazy.
You needed a new house.
I mean, if I showed you a picture of my living room before we moved out, it's disgusting because there's toys everywhere, there's stuff everywhere. We're like, we got to get out of here. We love living in that building because they're just so nice and so amazing. But we realized we need a bigger space for sure. And now I have it, and I'm so happy.
You know, I have a 9-month-old baby myself, so I know how absolutely all-consuming it is. I want to know from you straight up, how are you juggling 3 at the same time?
I mean, I have a really good schedule. Like today, both the boys were just here, and they came and said hello. And
you step out for little breaks between interviews?
Yeah, just go say hi and, you know, be with them for a few minutes. I was with them all morning. And then by the time they wake up and Nisha wakes up from her nap, I'll be home. So I'll be there for the nighttime routine. And then once the nighttime routine is done, then I leave and they're sleeping, then I leave again and keep working. So that's kind of my schedule. It's really long, unless I have to go out of the area or out of Mumbai, then I don't get to see them all day. So it's sad. But for the most part, we've scheduled, you know, the entire schedule so well, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to see them as much as I can.
Have you and Daniel discovered new sides to each other post-parenthood?
The other night it was Noah was crying, so we decided for the first time to let him sleep in between us in those, you know, Moses baskets, and I discovered that I fit in this much space on the other side of the basket. It's so bad, but I don't know. We definitely have discovered this amazing side of just being parents and loving it. And every day it's, I mean, you see something new. You're a mom, so you know.
Yeah.
Like all those, it's like the tiniest little thing. You're like, oh my gosh, you're making a new noise. Yes. This is amazing. Where did this come from? Or they start doing some weird something with their mouth and you're like, oh, that's so cute. So, you know, it's probably one of the most beautiful, amazing chapters of my life right now. And I'm so thankful for it. And Nisha, who is like an angel from God, she's like the most beautiful little girl ever. I'll start crying, it was so bad. I love my boys, but Nisha, she's just like, she's unbelievably amazing. You would never guess in a million years from where she was to where she is now, and how smart she is and how beautiful she is. And I really truly believe that there's so many little kids out there who are so intelligent, but they just don't have the means of education to be able to, you know, explore, you know, what they can do. It's unbelievable because she's 2 and she's highly intelligent. So I love everything that I see of her and that she does. I mean, the other day for Ganpati, we went to our first darshan, and somehow she had figured out how to give us, you know, she called us one by one in front of, you know, Ganesh, and she gave us all a tika, and she said, okay, now Mama, okay, now Papa, now Noah, now Asher, now Karen Didi, now Mamti, now, you know, and called us all one by one so that she could give us, you know, a tika on our forehead.
Oh, sweet.
It's like, where does it come from? I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, what little kids are capable of doing, you know, I mean, to your heart. It's unbelievable to watch her. She's so amazing.
You talked about how for porn you need to have a pretty face and half a brain. I love you. You're very quotable. You must know. So for porn you need to have a pretty face and half a brain, and it's the same with Bollywood, except to that you add be on time and be charming.
Oh my
God.
God.
Are these really the rules that have worked?
You know, I think that yes, some of it does, you know, definitely apply.
Yeah.
And I think that with Bollywood, it's a process of figuring out how the wheel is turning, and understanding a lot more as each year passes. I believe that people evolve, and different things, you know, happen all the time that help you evolve into somebody new at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, however you look at it. So yeah, I've learned a lot since these interviews that you are quoting. Yeah.
With the web series, Sunny, you've really taken charge of the narrative. You want to tell your story through your lens. Why was that so important to you? While I know, of course, no one knows you better than you know yourself, is it also dicey that, I mean, how can you stay objective when it comes to your own life?
So what the writer and I did is we basically sat together for about 6 months, and I just told him stories. I told him stuff about my upbringing, stuff about the adult industry, stuff about why I made certain decisions, about extended family, about business choices, and, you know, different relationships, and so many different things, which adds up to the 2 seasons. And that's how he formed, you know, the story that's told. And all the stories that I told him and the stories that have ended up in the biopic, they're all real stories. And there are certain parts when I would read, I'm like, guys, this is not how it happened. I don't like this. And, you know, how can you guys shoot this? This character wasn't like this. Why are you guys making him so shady? I mean, why does that character have to be like this or this? You know, so many different things that didn't happen. I had a lot of problems with, and they were not happy that I would want to change things. But for me, it had to be the truth. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk about it with you. It would just be a fictional story. So if I want to shoot a fictional story, then I'd shoot a fictional story.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're shooting. And for my own self, it needed to be as close to the truth as possible.
But what was that process like for you? You said you sat and spoke with him for close to 6 months. There are obviously so many scenes, especially the ones that you share with your parents, between your parents themselves. It could have been extremely emotionally taxing to just tap on those memories time and time again.
Yeah, it was really hard. It wasn't easy at all. I thought I was emotionally ready, physically, mentally, emotionally ready to shoot this, and I wasn't. I wasn't at all. It was not even like 10% ready. And I know people ask if it was cathartic or healing, and I say absolutely not, because I opened up Pandora's box. And we have things that happen in our lives that are not fun, or if there's people watching this interview and they've lost a parent, that pain doesn't go away. You push it aside, but if you're then forced to relive it, even though those characters are obviously not my parents, but you're forced to see how things were handled, feelings, those, all these different things that were there, and it's not easy. And the dialogue, there's a lot of dialogue that is real dialogue that happened between myself and my parents, or Mark, who's playing Daniel's character. So there's a lot of different things that are very real, and it was really difficult.
So you really didn't know what you were signing up for when...
Emotionally, no.
Yeah.
No.
Was this also in some way, Sunny, a way for you to showcase yourself as an actress, maybe get hold of something meatier that you felt wasn't coming your way in terms of Bollywood films?
I would love to take credit for that idea, but it wasn't my idea at all. It was a production house's idea. And, Shireen came up to me, which is one of the producers of the two series. And they said that we want to show the story this way, and we want to show all these different things about your life. And my natural answer was, I don't know, guys. I don't think that I should do this. This is like, a realm that I don't know if I'll be okay with. And, she further went on to say, like, but we want to show, your relationship with your family and all these different things that people have no idea about. And, watching them explain all these different things was, it obviously made me excited. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess if you guys are going to show it this way, then it would be okay. And having creative control also,
that was key.
Yeah, that was like in bold in writing.
So were you not okay with the concept of a web series around your life, or were you not okay with starring in being you, basically?
It was just about, the stories of my life, because I just shot a docu that didn't go well, didn't go in the direction I thought it was going to go in, on the direction that we had all decided when I signed on to do that. And I just didn't want somebody to bulldoze me or, my husband in a project like this, and we got bulldozed by the other thing, but I just want to go through that again. It's so stressful to have to deal with people that just say, well, this is what we're going to do, so whatever. And shoot things that you didn't approve of, or you said, but this is crazy. This is not a proper conversation. You guys manipulated the truth. This is insane. So
the rules were very different this time over.
Yeah, they're extremely different.
Yeah. I also know there was a part where you really break down when you're reading the hate mail that the Punjabi community sends to you. But I know you, Sunny, the real you at least, the one that I've interviewed a bunch of times, you found a way to not let the trolls really get to you. What amount of doing has it taken for you to develop this kind of thick skin?
So when that happened, I was probably 20 years old, maybe. I was very young. And that was really the first time that I saw hate to another level, hate, where people would just go, you're not Indian, you're a disgrace to women, you're a disgrace to our culture, so many different things that were said that I won't repeat out loud. You guys all have to watch the show. but it truly does affect you as a young adult. And that's why when my husband came to me, Daniel came to me, and he said, oh, there's this show, it's called Big Boss, it's in India, do you want to do it? And I said, no way, you're insane. I'm not going to do this. And I have this whole rant that I had spat out to him, and he's like, whoa, okay, chill, relax. You know, we'll talk about this later. And, you know, my husband's really smart and knows what's going to, you know, what are the things that are going to pique my interest in something. So then they sent this whole PowerPoint presentation with statistics and all this research, and, you know, so I started reading that. Then I started Googling. Then I started like researching, you know, the company and the show and everything, and that's, you know, how I ended up on a yes.
Big Boss, that was really your entry into India and subsequently movies. What was really the hardest part for you to break into Bollywood? Because you were already coming from being a star in your own right, and then you were starting over. So if I can just take you back 2010, 2011, what was the hardest point breaking in?
I didn't really see myself as someone that was trying to break in. It's like, okay, there's this show. I'll probably be there for 2 weeks. I will take that money and use it as a down payment on a house in America, and I'll go back to living in my little bubble. And that'll be the end of that. That's where I thought my entry and end would be. It wasn't now 70 years later, and I'm still sitting here. So none of that was planned or thought out, you know. But I do have the ability, and same with Daniel, to recognize an opportunity and, you know, recognize something that could turn into something else, you know. And at that point in my life, I was looking for that next step, because I was done with, you know, working in adult before Big Boss's offer had come to me. So in my head, I was like, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to move forward, and I just don't know what that's going to be. Am I going to open up my own coffee shop? Because, you know, this is just not stimulating enough for me anymore, and I don't want to continue on this path. So I believe that God shows you opportunities, and it's your job to recognize when those opportunities, when they're there, when the opportunities are there.
Cut to, I'm still getting over that picture you tweeted of the sea of love in Kerala. That's where I'm from. Does it feel like a dream come true? Is it vindication of sorts for all the trolls that you've had to face to get here? Just that swarm of people out there to welcome you.
I just got goosebumps. That day was so insane, because I wasn't there for a film promotion. I wasn't there for a television promotion. I wasn't there promoting anything. Like, that wasn't just, you know, what we were doing. I was going to a
launch,
show. It was like an electronic phone store.
Wow.
That wanted me to come in and promote, you know, like do like the inauguration.
Cut a ribbon.
Of their store. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go. I mean, I'm so happy to be going there. It'll be so much fun. And we're driving through, and I just thought that it was just a few people surrounding the car. I didn't know that it went deeper and deeper and deeper, because you can't see it from inside the car. And I had no idea until I got out and I stood on this tiny, again, we didn't think anything was gonna happen, so they made this tiny little stage that was a little wobbly, and got up there, and I looked down, I'm like, oh my gosh. It took my breath away. I wanted to cry. It was like so insane, the amount of energy when there's that many people around you, you know, cheering for you, and they're so happy. You just, like, I don't know, it takes my breath away every single time. I think it's unbelievable. And it wasn't until afterwards, when I was in the car, I was like, oh, okay, that went really well. and I started looking on Twitter, and then I saw an aerial shot. I was like, no way, this is insane. I'm like, guys, look at this. This is crazy. This is how many people were there. This is nuts. I mean, it looked like a lot of people where I was standing, but that top shot, I was like, oh my gosh. And then the like snowball effect of the aftermath of that, which was crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think it was such an amazing moment, and I'm never in my life going to forget that.
I just want to wrap by asking you, what according to you is the most misunderstood thing about being Sunny Leone that you really wish you can set right with Karenjit Kaur, The Untold Story?
I think that it would just be that I'm just like everybody else out there. I have the same issues, the same problems, the same crazy family. You guys put your pants on, you know, one leg at a time, and so do I, you know. And I think that if there's any message, it would just be that, you know, to do it your way and live the life that you want to live.
Thank you. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks. Like, share, and subscribe on Film Companion. That's how I will never forget. Neither should you. So press a button and subscribe now.